تست مايك 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 تست مايك.
كريم. الو الو، تسمعني يا كريم؟ انت شوف، انت بالنسبه للتسميه العربيه هو هذاك اللي ستفتك غير تكتبني بالفرنسيه. كمل ديالك انت اصلا تكتب عربي بالفرنسيه. الفرنسيه غادي تفهم. لا غادي تحيدها. لا تكتب محتوى انا عطيتك في 2024 راه كتبت. شوف دابا راه غادي نفتح الفرنسيه وكنشوف. اوكي وانا غنفتح دابا الفرنسيه. يتابوز. Attention. Hey. عادي. ايه ميكرو. ها بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله.
In the name of God, the grateful and the merciful. In the name of God, peace and prayers upon the Prophet.
بسم الله الرحمن
In the name of God, in the name of God, the grateful and the merciful. Praise be the Lord, praise be Allah, peace and prayers upon the prophets. Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Mauritania, Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Gambia, Your Excellency, Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, Your Excellency Sheikh Abdullah Ben Baya, President of the Abu Dhabi Forum for Peace in the EAU, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, ministers, honorable ministers, excellencies, ministers, and ambassadors, Your Excellencies, scholars, ulamas, ladies and gentlemen, dear attendees, all protocols observed. Please be welcome in Nouakchott. Please be welcome in the opening session of this fourth forum for the Peace Conference to celebrate peace under the theme Ancient Education in Africa, Science and Peace, in cooperation with the Republic of Mauritania and under the high patronage of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Mauritania, Si El Ghazouani. Your Excellencies, following the wonderful achievement achieved over the past edition, participations of all decision makers in the African continent, the fourth edition of this forum will address one of the major pillars of our environment. I'm talking about education, ancient education, one of the major pillars for peace, to debate about this ancient education under the spotlight of the African societies and the different institutions which have managed, following the centuries, to build bridges and pathways to face radicalism, extremism, and to better preserve the African identity and the Muslim identity. The organization of this conference is taking place at the same time with the UNESCO stating that the Mauritanian Mahadara is a part of the intangible patrimony of humanity. Your Excellency, dear President, thank you for giving such importance to this wonderful religious and cultural heritage to better disseminate the peace principles of Islam. And thank you for celebrating tolerance and mutual understanding following the Islam principles. We shall now hear the Holy Quran, and then we will watch an institutional video. Following this, His Excellency Sheikh Ben Baya, President of the Peace Forum, will give his delivery. Then Mr. Jumra, President of the Religious Endowments for the Republic of Egypt. Following this, we will give the Peace Award to His Excellency President of Gambia, who will deliver his speech. And Mr. Ghazouani will declare open the official opening of this conference. With no further ado, we are going to hear the Holy Quran.
من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذا مس الإنسان ضر دعا ربه منيبا إليه ثم إذا خوله نعمة منه نسي ما كان يدعو إليه من قبل وجعل لله أندادا ليضل عن سبيله قل تمتع بكفرك قليلا إنك من أصحاب النار أمن هو قانت آناء الليل ساجدا وقائما يحذر الآخرة ويرجو رحمة ربه قل هل يستوي الذين يعلمون والذين لا يعلمون إنما يتذكر أولو الألباب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم صدق الله العظيم.
Peace be upon the Prophet. With no further ado, we are going to watch an institutional video around the conference topic. The sound of the video is not reaching the interpreting. We do apologize. The interpreters cannot interpret the content of this video. We apologize for that, but we have no sound.
جاء المؤتمر الإفريقي لتعزيز السلم ليكون محطة جديدة على دروب السلم الأهلي ومدا لبساطه وتوسيعا لشجرته الوارفة تحت الرعاية السامية لفخامة رئيس الجمهورية الإسلامية الموريتانية محمد ولد الشيخ الغزواني وبالرئاسة العلمية لمعالي الشيخ عبد الله بن بية رئيس مجلس الإمارات للإفتاء رئيس منتدى أبو ظبي للسلم. ولمتانة العلاقة مع رائد مشروع السلم في العالم الإمارات العربية المتحدة بقيادة صاحب السمو الشيخ محمد بن زايد آل نهيان ولدت مبادرة المؤتمر الإفريقي لتعزيز السلم نتيجة
The wonderful organization of the peace conference was achieved. It's a partnership, a great achievement, a great paradigm, highlighting the convergence of the two countries about peace in Africa to live in prosperity, dignity, and progress. Africa living in peace. The entire world is watching Africa. All the different stakeholders are looking for solutions to make a better future for Africa, for peace and security. The African Forum for Peace should celebrate peace as a new crossroad to broaden and to widen the roots of this wonderful tree of peace under the patronage of His Excellency President Barzani and under the patronage of Sheikh Ben Baya, President of the Abu Dhabi Forum for Peace. In regards with the relations between the Arabic Emirates and Mauritania, and under the patronage of Sheikh Mohammed Ben Bayan, this initiative was born to celebrate peace thanks to a great partnership between Mauritania and the UAE, highlighting the convergence of the two brother countries for building peace and progress in Africa. Our country has been working relentlessly to fight against violent extremism. This is how we have implemented a wonderful partnership with our brothers from the UAE, thanks to the organizations of this annual conference on peace in Africa and the following means to celebrate this peace, as it was highlighted by one head of state in Nouakchott with different African leaders and many UN leaders, African Union leaders, the ICO leaders from the European Union and other countries from the Sahel region. Different top-ranking individuals, scholars are gathering to foster dialogue in order to put an end to conflicts and to empower young youth and women by organizing peace caravans led by different representatives of tribes and religious groups in order to celebrate peace in different regions shaken by bloody disputes. That's why we are working relentlessly to ensure peace in this world and to address all the different challenges that we have to face. The role of peace in Africa, tolerance, common understanding is utterly important. Following different editions around peace, in the past editions of this Forum for Peace, since 2020 up to 2023, this year we are going to open a new page about a very important topic. I'm talking about the ancient education in Africa, with the very long history of African institutions building pathways between different societies which are working relentlessly to fight against extremism. The University of Al-Qarawin, University of Zaytuna, University of Al-Azhar, University of Tombouctou, and different Quranic schools in Senegal, in Nigeria, and other countries, Niger, Mali, and other African countries, to build an open space for science, embracing the full cultural and religious diversity of these ancient education institutions. In addition to this, We have wonderful peace platforms to fight against fanaticism and extremism in countries which have always welcomed all different cultures and religions. I'm talking about peace caravans which have been going through those countries for centuries. We need those peace caravans to build a prosperous future, an enlightened future in regions which are suffering from very deadly conflicts. Now we are going to hear the Holy Quran.
صدق الله العظيم.
كلما أحاط اليأس بهذه الأمة وتكالبت الحروب عليها يصدح من عمق محنتها صوت أمل حاملا فسيلة ليغرسها حكمة وعلما وحلما وسلما. فضيلة الإمام العلامة الشيخ عبد الله البية.
This is the voice of His Excellency Sheikh Ben Baya, who is going to deliver his speech. Your Excellency Sheikh Ben Baya, you have the floor.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على.
Praise be the Lord. Peace and prayers on the Prophet, his family, and his companions. Your Excellencies, Your Excellency Mohammed Ulshar al-Rawazani, President of the Islamic Republic of Mauritania, Your Excellency Adama Barrow, President of the Republic of Gambia, Your Excellency Dr. Mohammed Mukhtar Gomaha, Honorable Minister of Religious Endowments for Egypt, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, may be the peace of Allah cover your family. Praise be the Lord, praise be Allah. Praise be the Lord for helping me to renew this gathering and to help me to gather with you to debate about a very important topic. I'm talking about peace. Peace in Africa. Peace in the African continent. Your Excellencies, at the beginning of my speech, on my personal behalf and on behalf of all the participants, of this conference, on behalf of this wonderful gathering, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to you, Your Excellency, President, and my gratitude to the Republic of Mauritania. We would like to express our gratitude. We would like to express our gratitude for receiving the President of the Republic of Gambia. And we do praise His Excellency, the President of Republic of Gambia, a friend of ours, and we express our deepest respect to him. Your Excellency, I would like to forward the greetings from Sheikh Mohammed bin Sultan, the President of the UAE. Please let me reiterate the fact that your brothers in the UAE do share with you the concern you give in your wonderful endeavor to make a success of this gathering and to put an end to this terrible tragedy taking place now in the Gaza Strip. Your brothers from the UAE are working relentlessly to provide some humanitarian assistance to the victims of this tragedy in the Gaza Strip in Palestine. Water, food, medication, and first aid equipment, with the project of creating a desalination plant and by building hospitals in order to receive victims and to provide aid and assistance to the victims of this terrible tragedy. A field hospital has been created to take care of the victims. We praise the Lord, Allah the Mightyful, to help us in this endeavor and to help us to put an end to evil and to bless us with His merciful action and to get out of this dead end street. Your Excellencies, dear Mr. President, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this conference with others, which have been organized over the past 4 years in this wonderful country of Mauritania, this wonderful land of Africa, would be a great opportunity to highlight different items. Why this conference and why addressing the issue of the 4th edition to try to provide great achievements in order to build peace in Africa, a continent in need of peace and progress today. This is a new gathering following the last edition to celebrate harmony, common understanding, and prosperity by addressing the best approaches in order to fulfill this goal. Following the first conference in January 2022 about the role of Islam in Africa, how to fight against extremism in Africa, February 2022 about bringing peace to the world, and the 3rd edition, January 2023, about come in peace. We have tried to identify the different means to celebrate peace and harmony and mutual understanding through education. Both items are very important to build tolerance in our environment by building and strengthening peace, capable of putting an end to extremism and violence, because extremism are coming from a lack of understanding, poor education, and the frustration of poverty. That's why we want to promote peace, prosperity, and tolerance. We will provide some materials regarding this item, and in order to highlight the importance of the ancient education in our continent, from Egypt up to the Mauritanian Mahadra, the University Al Zaytuna from Tunisia, stated by the wonderful history of Africa. Very briefly, I would like to give you some recommendations in order to give you the best regarding the ancient education, how ancient education could help us to celebrate peace with important resources, rationalized resources, by trying to highlight the most relevant institutions to build an enlightened education in a world where education and ancient education are threatened. Please let me give you different tracks that we could elaborate together, and hopefully we will be able to provide some quality recommendations regarding the sustainability of this ancient education with some very tangible recommendations. All people who have been granted by the ancient educations were some sort of were self-made men. Universities are modern training centers. The genuinity where the personal performance is the cornerstone to bring peace and prosperity. It is also important to identify the needs on how to build partnerships in order to organize trainings, top-level trainings, to put forward some great findings and achievements. As far as the financial resources are involved, following the human resources, the financial resources are also very important. Those resources are very important. They do represent a cornerstone, as well as the economy in all society in the world. That's why, please bear in mind that the prophet companions, the prophet, peace be upon him, his companions were giving a lot of interest to economy and financial resources. This resource is as important as water for farming. That's why it is very important to grant a particular concern to the financial resources that should be mobilized to help the education institutions could face the different challenges, modern challenges, to make this ancient education sustainable?
في أمريكا وفي بريطانيا.
The largest Western universities in the United Kingdom, in the United States of America, are all universities depending from national resources and private donations. We're talking sometimes of 4 billion USD as donations. Consequently, those universities have always been a fertile ground to help scholars, top-ranked scholars in different fields, to shine thanks to those donations. Those donations are a great means to make science, culture, and education sustainable. We also have the zakat. Zakat is made to get closer to Allah, to take care of pupils, students, and academics. This is something which is very positive. Some scholars do think that those spendings and those financial resources in the academic world, in the world of investigation, research and investigation, are as important as zakat made by Muslim people to the poorest, whether for the Malekite and for the Al-Banani, for the Al-Zarqani. They have brought different answers to this point. Especially regarding what is being written in the holy books for the Hanafi rite and the Maliki rite. We also have a zakat fund which has been implemented with dedicated account to focus on the development of those institutions, to help them to meet their needs, and for those resources to constitute. And I'm sure that we will talk about it over this conference of 3 days. We have a huge number of suggestions. Now, as far as the institutionalization is involved, those ancient education institutions should become important institutions. This is something which is very important in our modern era. That's why it is utterly important that the managers, the supervisors of those ancient education centers should be granted enough resources coming from the state and the governments to help their students to join universities. We have the Al-Ala institution and we have others institutions. Allowing the students of those education centers to join faculty of laws and other legal institutions. We also need to make sure that the job market should be open to those students coming from ancient education institutions. I do wish to hear recommendations to help us to pave the way for a better access to a job market for those students. And I do wish to see students from all over the world, from different cultural background, could live together in peace and in tolerance. I would like to express my gratitude to His Excellency, the President of Mauritania, and I would like to pray the Lord to build peace upon us and to make this conference a success. Praise be the Lord.
الإمام العلامة على هذه الكلمة التأطيرية الافتتاح.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ben Baye, for having given us an idea about the organization of this conference. Now, I would like to give the floor to Mr. Mukhtar al-Juman, Minister of Islamic Affairs, Egypt. Glory to God and peace be on Prophet Muhammad. May the peace of God be with him. Excellencies, dear President of the Republic of Mauritania, Your Excellency Mr. Adama, President of the Republic of Gambia, Mr. Lema Ben Baye, Dr. Mohamed Kouni, dear Minister of Religious Affairs of Mali, first let me highlight the importance of the topic of this conference. I should therefore commend the organizers of this conference for their kind contribution, and thereby His Excellency the President Mohammed al-Sheikh Ould Sheikh al-Ghazouani, President of the Islamic Republic of Mauritania, for having organized this conference under their patronage. I should further like to thank His Excellency Sheikh bin Baye for his collaboration with Mauritania, because they are now quite well versed in the organization of such very important events. Islam has given large importance to knowledge. God in the Holy Quran wondered whether the wise man and others could have the same treatment. The Prophet said that anyone who is looking for the path towards knowledge will find an easy way towards heaven. And the adoration of God should follow a scientific methodology. There are lots of Muslims groups who've been looking for things in religion without knowing exactly what to find. But eventually they used strength. This is why one should always try to reconcile religion to knowledge whenever possible. When we talk about traditional teachings and modern sciences, we do consider that it is of utmost importance to try and find a symbiosis between the traditional know-how and modern science. We need to revisit Quranic schools, the points of recitations of the Quran, the learning of traditional methodologies and knowledges throughout the prism of modern science. We should further look for the modern skills that we need to be equipped with in order to better develop the traditional teachings themselves. On the one hand side, you've got the learning process and the access to the job market. We all know that students who go through this pathway must acquire other skills so as to acquire sufficient skills in order to join the labor market. Mr. Ben Baya, during his intervention, talked about the importance of traditional institutions, al-Khadr al-Khalawat. He mentioned the Al-Azhar Institute described by the Prophet Ahmed Shawqi, alongside with his wonderful poetry. And in the description of the poet Ahmed Shawqi, he gives a marvelous description, by the way, and he says that the Al-Azhar Institute is there to protect the knowledge. And that's why Hashim also composed a poem to the memory of the institution Al-Azhar. And this poem says that the ulama of Al-Azhar never used the knowledge as a merchandise. This is a proof of the importance of faith. Now, with regard to the relationship between science and peace, the relationship between true Islamic studies and peace is very important. Whenever we have quite a clear vision and a sincere vision of Islamic studies, automatically the pathway shall lead to peace. If we leave aside scientific methods, teachings, and this is based on scientific methods, there are automatically some complications. We all know that religion enables everything except for what is forbidden. Now, peace is the basis, it's the exception. The exception is a war. Yet ignorance give a lot of importance to that exception, and for them the exception is the basic learning, and they give absolute priority to this exception, which nurtures itself in violence. Therefore, we want to highlight the importance of maintaining peace within our societies in the light of international peace. A state with internal problems, internal instability cannot be part and parcel of the regional momentum towards regional or international peace. This is why the ulamas of the region must play a very important role in order to unite their forces to enable their nations to also be and stay united. Our countries are our major duty. We must deploy all our efforts to protect our nations in order for our voices to be heard, our speech of peace. Our nation should be a nation of peace and not a nation of war. From that standpoint onwards, let us give greater importance to education. Education is the job of experts, and this is true in all fields, including Islamic studies. Since we have always been the witnesses of devoyance of young students by the actions of radical groups, and this is a direct threat to regional and international peace. It is very important that we take stock of what Mr. Benbaya just said. We must organize traditional teaching and learning methods within all educational systems. They all should be under the supervision of the state, which is eventually the last player in supervising the whole trajectory of this teaching endeavor. We should not leave between the hands of any groups the prerogative of education, since this group is going to certainly use their ideology to pass messages in that educational framework. The auspices of the state should and must remain fundamental and paramount, and this is why the state must take its responsibilities with regard to the sphere of education. Secondly, Mr. Benbaya also called upon the creation of a Habus fund so as to fund traditional teachings under the tutorship of the state. Thereby, we shall be able to fund these educational systems in order to best serve the Holy Quran and the language of the Quran. This Quran is very important because one cannot interpret a Quranic hadith, for example, hadith of the Prophet, without a deep knowledge of the Arabic language. So it is a duty for all students. They must endeavor to reach a very good level of Arabic in order to be able to interpret religious texts. Religious institutions should be at the service of the Quran and perfectly master the language of the Quran. And I'm talking about our nations in our African continent. Africans are to understand the Quran directly, and the vehicle of the Arabic language is of utmost importance. The Egyptian poet Hafid Ibrahim has a poem about the Arabic language, and he says that this language speaks for itself. The speaker is now quoting Hafid Ibrahim's poem, and it is a poem about the privileges of the Arabic language and its virtues, of course. It is the language of God, of the book of God. If that language can describe or express what God intended to say, it will be able to describe all matters related to science. The speaker is still quoting the Egyptian poem from Mr. Hafid Ibrahim. Hafid Ibrahim used to speak a lot to writers, to wise men, and he would point out the importance of the Arabic language. The speaker is again quoting from the poem of Hafid Ibrahim, the Egyptian poet. So the Arab language has a long future ahead of itself, and so do we for moderate Islam. and still under the auspices of the state, and I wish you great success. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Mohamed Mokhtar Juma. Thank you, Excellency, Minister of the Islamic Dotations from the Republic of Egypt, for this brilliant speech. The Minister of Religious Affairs of the Republic of Mali is now going to give us his speech. The floor is to His Excellency. On behalf, in the name of God, the graceful and the merciful, in order to avoid any redundancies and repetitions, I shall limit myself to a few points of highlights that I would like to bring to your attention on behalf of God Almighty. I confess my sins before Allah. I implore His forgiveness, as well as His mercy. Peace and prayers on the seal of the prophets until the day of the last judgment. And I'd like to implore Allah to grant me with His mercy. Whenever I declare myself a Muslim and believer in Allah and Allah only and His Prophet until the day of the judgment, dear Excellency, President of the Republic of Mauritania, Mohamed El Sheikh Ghazouani, may the Lord protect you and bring you the light. Dear President of the Republic of Gambia, Mr. Barrow, Your Eminence, Mr. Sheikh Abdallah Ben Baya, Your Eminence, Mr. Mokhtar Juma, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I am particularly delighted to be honored by the presence of our President, Mr. Ould Sheikh El Ghazouani, and I am delighted to be amongst you, and I would like to convey the most friendly greetings from our President of Mali, who considers the Mauritanian Republic is a country that is both friendly and led by an enlightened leader vested with the sense of sacrifice, of patriotism. And if we are here to represent different African countries, we can only repeat our deepest and greatest thanks to His Excellency, Mr. El Ghazouani, for placing under his high patronage this 4th edition of the African Conference for Peace, and most vivid thanks are conveyed, as well as our deepest gratitude to His Excellency Sheikh Ben Baya. Such a caliber conference, being one of the most important conferences in our daily world, where ancestral knowledge can bring a new impetus of patriotism in our very authentic sources of knowledge. And this is how we must perpetrate this knowledge whilst undertaking the pathways our elder used to undertake. Let us bear in mind the importance of living in reciprocity and within the exchange of knowledge, erudition, and knowledge. From the moment when Islam has become a fortress protecting us against ignorance, fortress sometimes criticized by some as being one of the means that is contradicting progress. And of course, this is a proof of the great ignorance of the most authentic precepts of Islam. The pursuit of science and knowledge is a duty in Islam. And each Muslim should be educated. Islam keeps on inviting Muslim people to look for knowledge, glory, prosperity, whilst struggling against any forms of ignorance and obscurantism. I'd like to further thank the Mauritanian people for their legendary hospitality that has always been offered to us anytime we've been walking this blessed land. This fertile land we visit on a yearly basis with renewed pleasure, and thank you for your kind attention. Salam alaikum, the peace be on the Prophet and his companions and family. Thank you, Mr. Mohamed Koni, Minister of the Religious Affairs of the Republic of Mali, for his introduction. Let us now, without further ado, move on to the Peace Award that shall be presented by the President of the Gambia as a proof of the efforts deployed by His Excellency to welcome peace on our African lands. Mr. Sanusi is going to briefly introduce us this award. Mr. Sanusi, the floor is yours. Welcome. Peace be upon you. At the outset, let me address my most vivid thanks, and I'd like to express my deepest gratitude towards His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Mauritania, for his sponsoring of the African Conference for Peace. It is an exceptional and unique conference that endeavors to identify the means to settle peace, and he organized it jointly with His Excellency Sheikh bin Baya, President of the Abu Dhabi Forum for Peace. This African platform, gathering heads of states, politicians, wise men in such a realm, is but one of the greatest platforms, namely the Abu Dhabi Forum for the promotion of peace, as well as a new coalition based in Washington that endeavors to gather and federate the different religions around the topic of peace. And I'd like to further now introduce this very unique and one-of-a-kind award. An award that shall this year be given by His Excellency, the President of the Gambia, and I will give you now a reading of the genesis of this prize in English.
His Excellency, President of Gambia. There were 9 presidents nominated for this prestigious award. The award selection committee unanimously voted to present the award to the President of the Gambia for his leadership in promoting peace and security, and particularly in his role and the great country of Gambia in protecting the human rights of those who are in minority in the majority communities. The Gambia, on behalf of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, championed the efforts to promote accountability for the atrocity crimes committed against the Rohingya people, a minority Muslim community in the country of Myanmar, the Gambia filed a genocide case against Myanmar at the International Court of Justice, which led to a unanimous order against Myanmar requiring it to end the genocidal acts against the Rohingya. This vital case had set an example that has reverberated around the world and has provided a roadmap for others to utilize international legal mechanisms to enforce the human rights of oppressed communities around the world. The Gambia has also set an inspiring example of promoting peace, justice, and reconciliation at home as well, at the land of Gambia. After President Barrow peacefully won his first presidential election in 2016, in his government courageously established a truth and reconciliation and repatriation commission to address the human rights violations of the Gambian previous government. That TRCC has successfully helped to build peace, healing, and reconciliation within the Gambia. And President Barrow's domestic efforts at the building peace have also ensured that the Gambia has continued to hold peaceful elections to select its government. So this Robert's example, just few examples of President Barrow's groundbreaking leadership, led to our committee's unanimous decision to honor him with this award. So الذي قلته الدور الذي قام به
I would like to highlight the role played by President Barrow when we are talking about cooperation with OIC, by supporting the Rohingya from Myanmar, the Muslim minority. Gambia has worked relentlessly with the International Court of Justice to put forward an advocacy to defend the Muslim minorities in Rohingya in cooperation with the OIC. President Adama Barrow is an elected president, and since 2016 he has worked relentlessly to celebrate the values of common understanding and peace and prosperity to gather all Gambians. Consequently, our prize committee, following the examination of 9 leaders, has selected the President Adama Barrow to give him this Peace Award in Africa. This to celebrate peace. I would like to talk about Gambia as a flagship to build an advocacy to protect religious minorities, highlighting the efforts put forward by other countries. That's why we have selected President Adama Barrow.
Commitment to peace. نشكركم على كل هذه الجهود المقدرة. والآن أدعو فخامة.
I would like to invite His Excellency President of Republic of Gambia, Mr. President of Mauritania, could you please give the Peace Award in Africa to the President of Gambia, Adama Barrow, and I would like to invite His Excellency Mr. Abdallah Ben Bayar to present and to give this prize, this award to the President of Gambia. Could you please stand up to pay a tribute to the President of Gambia? Your Excellency, Mr. President of the Republic of Mauritania is delivering the award for peace in Africa to His Excellency, Mr. Adama Barrow, the Peace Award in Africa for this year. As a testimony to his great achievements to promote peace, reconciliation in the land of Africa.
بهذه المناسبة ندعو فخامة الرئيس الغامبي أداما بارو.
We do invite Mr. Adama Barrow to deliver his speech to this honorable conference. Dear President, you have the floor.
Your Excellency, the President of Mauritania, Your Excellency Abdel bin Bayan, esteemed leaders, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Before proceeding with my speech, I will first say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. For giving me the health and the strength to be with you here today. I will thank the organizers of this conference and thank them also for this award. It is a very important day in the history of my political career as President of the Republic of the Gambia. And I will seize the opportunity to thank the organizers and thank our uncle here, who is their leader, and our father and grandfather, who is here with us. On my behalf, on behalf of my family, on behalf of the Gambian people and the entire African continent, I thank you for this very important award. I am very grateful for this opportunity. It's a rare opportunity. These awards is about peace. This award given to me is about trust, is about confidence to my leadership. And I believe that this award is the most important award because the award is about peace. Peace is about development. Peace is about stability. Peace is about going forward. Then peace is positive. But I will seize the opportunity to congratulate the previous presidents who were also given the same opportunity and privilege to receive this very important award. First, President Grijani, for inviting me and for the hospitality that was given to me and my delegations since we arrived in this beautiful city in Mauritania. Mr. President, thank you very much. I feel greatly honored to address this esteemed assembly to express my sincere thanks for the Peace Award bestowed upon me. In appreciation of this, I extend heartfelt gratitude to His Excellency Mohamed Ould Ghazouani, the President of Mauritania, for generously hosting this event. The occasion is symbolic across the diverse and vibrant African continent. From this viewpoint, His Excellency's leadership and hospitality reflect the spirit of African brotherhood and cooperation that we so deeply valued and continually strive to strengthen. I must confess that I have accepted the 2024 African Peace Award with humility and a deep sense of gratitude. The award may be in recognition of my humble efforts, but certainly it also signifies the resilience and commitment of Gambians and our African brothers and sisters to peace, promotion, stability, and human dignity. Regardless of the conflicts and suffering across the globe, Africa continues to rise and develop. This resilience demonstrates our unyielding resolve to pursue a durable path to harmony and mutual understanding. Although our history is loaded with challenges, the natural African spirit in us, driven by the ideals of unity and cooperation, remains our guiding light. Consequently, this prestigious Peace Award is not a mere recognition of efforts, but a reminder that the quest for peace is a never-ending venture. It is a journey begun with the sacrifices of our ancestors and sustained by us to ensure a prosperous future for all generations. Excellencies, for our survival and progress, cultivating a culture of peace is essentially of a special prominence on our global agenda. Peace in this context goes beyond the absence of conflict. It also embodies the process of fostering understanding, mutual respect, and collaboration among communities and nations. My leadership experience has revealed to me the profound impact of sustained peace on a nation. Peace stands out clearly as the bedrock upon which society can heal, economies can thrive, and individuals can access opportunities and enjoy their rights to live happily. Put differently, peace is the cornerstone for a world that upholds human dignity, celebrates diversity, and empowers people to realize their full potential. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, the pursuit of a culture of peace is both a collective and an individual endeavor. It requires policies that directly tackle the root causes of conflict, and these include poverty, inequality, and injustice. This realization makes it necessary to free all those whose voices are suppressed, especially the advocates of human rights and human dignity. In Africa, peace building calls for addressing emerging threats, such as election-related violence, unregulated migration, abuse of new technologies, and systematic corruption. To succeed as we engage in constructive dialogue and collaboration, we must remember that it is only through collective action that a truly peaceful world order can be established. Fittingly, therefore, every policy discussion and every act of diplomacy, kindness and understanding should contribute towards creating a more peaceful, just, and equitable world. In pursuit of our transformation and development agenda in the Gambia, a major focus of our 2018-2021 National Development Plan was to restore and sustain peace and stability through sustainable institutional building and people-centered development approaches. Furthermore, establishing the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission and implementing its recommendation to heal the nation, reforming our security sector, and liberating public space for responsible media participation and freedom of expression are important aspects of our peace-building story. Constituting a National Human Rights Commission to monitor threats to human rights and addressing them through dialogue, as well as respect for the rule of law and independence of the judiciary, amply demonstrate my government's commitment to peace, security, and justice. Excellencies, distinguished personalities, interlinked with the narratives of other African nations, the Gambia story remains one of hope and relentlessness efforts. From nurturing democracy to advocating human rights and fostering economic cooperation, our strive towards peace are steps towards a greater and more united Africa. It is conclusive that the African Peace Award is a call to action for all of us. It reminds us that our work is far from over. Thus, in the spirit of African unity, let us recommit ourselves to the principles of the African Union and strive not only to end all conflicts, but also to guarantee and sustain development, peace, and prosperity. Moving forward, our vision must be clear, our determination steadfast, sufficiently enough for us to leverage all the strength and courage we can gather, engage the youth and women, and empower every citizen. Together, we can develop a continent where peace prevails, nations wherein every child grows peacefully, and communities within which each citizen can contribute meaningfully to public life and progress. The road ahead may be rough, but if we stand united, our collective resolve will lead to global peace, security, and happiness. I submit that we leave this assembly not as leaders of diverse nations, but as members of a family committed to a brighter future of peace, dignity, justice for humankind. In conclusion, my sincere thanks go to the African Conference for Peace for conferring this huge honor on me. I am also extremely grateful to my fellow Gambians and by extension all Africans, whose hopes and dreams I am honored to represent and promote. Jointly, let us forge ahead for a peaceful, prosperous, and united Africa. Long live African solidarity. Long live global peace. Thank you.
إذن هنيئا لفخامة الرئيس الغامبي السيد آدم بارو.
Congratulations to His Excellency Adama Barrow, President of the Republic of Gambia. Congratulations for this well-deserved award. Sheikh Mohamed Razwani will now deliver his opening speech of this ceremony of the African Conference for Peace in its 4th edition. In the name of God, the grateful and the merciful, peace be upon the Prophet, his family, and his companions. Your Excellencies, dear brothers, dear Adama Barrow, President of the Republic of Gambia, Honorable Prime Minister, Your Excellency, President of the Council of Constitution, Your Excellency, President of the Council for Democracy, Your Excellency Ben Baya, President of the Forum of Abu Dhabi for Peace, Your Excellencies, dear ambassadors, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, dear representatives of international organizations, ladies and gentlemen, dear scholars, dear friends, dear partners, dear attendees. First and foremost, I would like to wish a warm welcome to my dear friend, the President of the Republic of Gambia in his second country, by expressing our happiness and our deepest gratitude to accept our invitation for this 4th conference for peace around the ancient and traditional education, peace and science. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to His Excellency Sheikh bin Baya, President of the Abu Dhabi Forum for Peace, for providing his wonderful skills and knowledges to disseminate peace and common understanding in this world. I would like to wish a warm welcome to all the sheikh, the scholars, the experts, the political leaders, decision makers, institutions, all protocol observers involved in fulfilling law and order. I would like to express my gratitude for their participation to the organization of this 4 conference, Your Excellencies. The topic retained for the 4th edition of this Conference for Peace, Ancient Education, Science and Peace in Africa, is a very important topic. This topic calls upon Mauritanians to remind them centuries of knowledge, skills, and science, because it is on the Mauritanian land that was first born the ancient education, unique by its shape with the different axes of Shingit, which have enlightened Africa over the centuries, from the north to the south, from the west to the east, to fight against obscurantism, fanatism, and radicalism, thanks to the values of common understanding and tolerance. That's why UNESCO has recently put the Mauritanian Mahadra as being part of the intangible heritage of humanity, following the very important role played by the living together, brotherhood, fraternity, peace and security played by the Mahadra. The different institutions of these ancient institutions are bringing Africa together around flagships and cornerstones to work relentlessly to build civilizations and to protect ethnic minorities by converging around the society peace, by disseminating brotherhood, peace, brotherhood, and love, which values will always be well put forward by the ancient education embodied by the Mahadara, which is of great importance for us. That's why within the Republic of Mauritania, we have worked relentlessly to modernize these Mahadri ecosystems by trying to preserve his long-lasting asset. Many human resources and financial resources have been mobilized to implement the Mahadara. We have created different pioneers in Mahadara, up to 1,400 Mahadara. Education success and education prosperity by implementing more bridges and pathways between ancient education and modern education, the promotion of both education systems to join universities and faculties. I'm talking about religious universities, the Mahadara of Shingit and other institutions, and we have also created different shares. We have tried to help scholars to deliver trainings within those ancient institutions. We have also created different awards to teach the Mahadara principles. Ladies and gentlemen, what Africa experiences, violence, terrorism, devastating wars, having terrible impacts on many countries all over the world, is highlighting the fact that we need to take our responsibilities to put an end to terrorism, extremism, violent radicalism. In this regard, ancient education has always been able to fight against extremism, to help this ancient education to play its role to safeguard and protect peace in the entire world. Thank you very much for your attention. Please be welcome in Mauritania.
إذن بذلكم يتم الإعلان الرسمي عن انطلاق فعاليات هذا المؤتمر. بعد استراحة ستبدأ محاور الشق العلمي من المؤتمر.
After a small break, we will resume our session. We do declare open the 4th African Conference for Peace.